Rising concerns over immigration in Alabama continuing to mount as more arrests and detainments happen across the country. Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Brittany Decker.
I'm Guy Rawlings. Thousands of people placed in handcuffs over the last few weeks, with these arrests getting closer and closer to home. WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn caught up with State Attorney General Steve Marshall and joins us now live. How's Marshall addressing the concerns, Aaron?
Yeah, Guy, Brittany, Attorney General Steve Marshall says that he is excited about the Trump administration's efforts to be proactive. Now, he says that he's happy to see undocumented immigrants being held accountable through immigration laws. Now, when I talked to him earlier today, we were in Coleman, and he told me that there is already one person who has been, who came to the United States unlawfully and committed a crime. Now, when I asked him how many people who are undocumented and have committed crimes, he didn't have a number off the top of his head, but he did say that it's happening. Now, across central Alabama, we've seen Latino and Hispanic people protesting these mass deportation efforts. And some say there are people who are coming to America to create a better life for their families. But Marshall says there still needs to be accountability.
Despite the valid reasons for wanting to come, and this is the greatest country in the world, there's a process in place for that to be able to occur. We encourage people to be able to use the legitimate, valid immigration procedures that are in place to allow people to be able to lawfully come into our nation, and then to be able to allow them to create that life that they want.
Now, I also talked to immigration lawyer John Charles Bell. He says these deportation efforts can cause damage in the long term. That's because some people are afraid of going to work and school because they're scared of being deported. And some people who are undocumented have family here in the U.S. who are not, and they fear they could be sent back to their native country.
Yes, there are some people that they are picking up that have a criminal background, but there are others that are not. There are others that have have what's considered deferred action, and it's because they have worked within the system to get their papers properly and correctly.
Now, Bell says that he believes that there will be a number of efforts to block these deportations, but what happens to those people who have already been either deported or are in ICE custody, well, that will be determined. But for now, we're live here in Birmingham. Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13.